do battle here against Lee Marino. Players anxious to start, so it is a Mountain and a Monastery Swift Spear here for Marino. Getting in for 1. And is that?
He's got the Arabians. There we go.
I know who you're rooting for. There's a Duress. And it looks like Marino's taking at least 1 mulligan.
Yeah, looks like a 6-card hand here.
Yep. You can see the hand there. Titan Strength going to bite the dust. Couple Mountains along with the McKinty Slide Runner. So Kudva will write that information down. We're going to head back Lee's way in just a moment. Lee will draw, play a Mountain. And there's a Slide Runner. Here's an attack for 1. Kudva going to untap. Second turn, he's at 17. Picked up a copy of Murderous Cut. You mentioned the importance of Silk Wrap here. Doesn't have that. Doesn't have another copy of Duress. And it's a miss. Zergo is the card. Marino going to untap. Very quickly take a draw step. And for how combo heavy his deck is, he hasn't found any of the pieces. At least not yet.
Kudva, if he doesn't have a blocker on 2, you don't necessarily need to combo out. I mean, this is working just fine over here.
That's true. That's the landfall trigger for the Slide Runner with the Bloodstained Mire. Attack, going to sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire. That's another point of damage. So it's going to be for 4, 5, 6, 7 with the dash from Zergo. Kudva's going to fall down to 9. Cinderglade's the land that Marino will find. And again, Kudva's deck doesn't have a boatload of removal in it, and it's kind of expensive in the stuff that he does have.
And this is the trouble also with threats like Monster and Mentor in the matchup too, is this turn it's just a 2/2.
Here's Murderous Cut. He's got to pay 1 to cast it. Graveyard's gone. So is the Slide Runner. You saw Zergo go back to the grip because it was dashed. Become Immense just game?
Yeah, of course it is. It always is.
Yeah, okay. Titan Strength, not, that might be game.
4, 5, 6, 7. Puts him to 1 with 2 Ks of Coilos in play. That's close enough for my purposes. It's not quite game, but
it might as well be.
Good enough for me.
Just got to cast that Titan Strength. Turn off those pain lands.
Because you don't want Kudva to untap and play something like Gideon.
No,
just
not at all.
shut it off.
Be 2, 3. Prow Triggers 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, absolutely. Fire that bad boy off. Yeah, and Kudva knows already. He's like, I can't cast spells, so I'm just going to concede. And that's Tarka Red at its finest there. Is Lee Marino going to win game number 1 here over Vikram. Kudva, or Tarka Red, very quickly up a game here over Esper Tokens. So we take a look at the sideboards. We'll start with Vikram and his 2 Surge of Righteousness, 2 Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Infinite Obliteration, 2 Stratus Dancer, 2 Disdainful Stroke. Mastery of the Unseen, Ultimate Price to Spell, Languish, Planar Outburst.
I see 6 cards I like. Planar Outburst is slow, but I believe good enough. Languish is very good. Dispel is very good. Ultimate Price is very good. And 2 copies of Surge of Righteousness.
Other side of things here from Marino, 2 Chandra Fire of Kaladesh, 2 Fiery Impulse, 2 Hooting Mandrills, giving those a try. 2 Pia and Kieran Nalar, 3 Rending Volleys, and 4 Roast.
So I like the Rending Volleys a lot in this matchup. Kudva's got a variety of 2 and 3 mana creatures that Rending Volley kills. I could see Chandra coming in. This is typically a Chandra style matchup where you're playing against opponent with a little bit of spot removal, not very much. Pia and Kieran Nalar is an interesting one. I don't want 4 mana cards in my deck kind of in general in these kind of matchups, because when you get to that stage of the game, I think it's challenging to win, and the opportunity cost of them being stuck in your hand is also quite high. But it is a lot of staying power. And Kudva does not have a lot to protect himself in the air, really just the 1 copy of Sorin. So that could be reasonable here as well.
Well, that'll give you the idea of the options there for both players. And as they do shuffle up in sideboard here for game number 2, we'll talk about the Star City Games holiday sale one last time here this weekend. We got 50% off of select rares up until Monday at 10:59 a.m. East Coast time. But we got awesome sales taking place all month long.
Yeah, and just head back to the website every day, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. A new sale gets posted every one of those days throughout the month of December. On top of that, we have stocking stuffers all month long where you get good discounts on figurines, deck boxes, sleeves, extended art, Battle for Zendikar basic lands, and much more. So just make sure to go back to the website periodically, check out the new stuff on sale.
Getting ready here for game number 2. It's Tarka Red on one side, it's Esper Tokens on the other.
Something to keep in mind here, and an argument for Pia and Kieran Nalar, is you have an opponent here who's bringing in Ultimate Price and Surge of Righteousness as their ways to interact at instant speed, on top of a couple copies of Murderous Cut. That means that Thopters are a much more stable way of trying to go off than trying to do it through your red creatures. So if you really prioritize the combo, having some artifact creatures is nice, because most of what Kudva is bringing to the table, very good against your red threats, but not great against artifacts.
Okay. That's an interesting angle of attack. It feels like a minor thing, but it could definitely come up.
It's a minor thing, but if you're really worried about those removal spells in particular, breaking up the combo, Pia gives you an alternate route.
It's one of my favorite cards, Pia and Kiran LR. Big fan. Not going to hide that. Maybe we'll see quite a bit of that at our Invitational next weekend in Las Vegas. Just talked to Joe Lissette after the round. He's feeling pretty good about things now for the Invitational. Though he's just said at the end of his match, he said, I'm gassed.
He was upset with the way that he played the top 4 match there. His brain was fried. I don't really blame him. That deck seems exhausting to play over 15 rounds and a top 8 on top of that.
You couldn't get me to do it. None of your games are fast. You don't have any like free win games. You're still activating Jace and Kolaghan's Command and all that stuff.
I was talking to Joe about it a little bit. Even with Miracles, once the game gets to a certain point, it's rote. You just keep the right cards on top of your deck and you eventually win the game. Very simple to play. The matches that Joe was playing, even on turn 12, had a handful of spells, and his decisions were meaningful because the other stuff was happening on the other side of the table. He never got a turn off. Everything was complicated the whole way through. And when you're playing matches like that over 2 days, your brain can give out. And especially, and I can say this from personal experience, when you're in your mid-30s. In your early 20s, you can go through 2 days.
You can do anything. You can do it. It's actually starting to catch up with me now. Even though I turn 30 next year, and I typically make fun of you for being older, but I understand what you mean now.
Top 4 Grand Prix Gate Crash, Grand Prix Charlotte, the Gate Crash Limited one. 2 days, it was a 17 Swiss rounds or whatever it was back then. The top 4, I just didn't play my 1-mana creature on turn 1. My brain gave out. There's just no energy left to expend. And I played a land and said go, and then looked at my hand, and there was one of the 1-mana extort creatures that I just didn't cast.
I remember at Origins Game Fair when I was 18 at my senior year of high school, I stayed up for 3 days in a row.
Yeah, that wouldn't even been a thing.
That's just nonsense.
Now it's like, it is 10:30. I need to go to bed.
Is Sports Center on so it can put me to sleep?
Right.
It'll catch up with you. And that deck that Joe's playing is exhausting.
Yeah.
It really is.
Even the lands, like every last piece of that deck.
Yeah.
It's going through his graveyard constantly. You have Kolaghan's Command and Den Protector plus Delve cards, so it's not even like you could just throw your graveyard to the side when you Treasure Cruise. You actually have to look.
Yeah. It's a lot. To make top 4 with that deck, it's very impressive stuff. I imagine that'll be his weapon of choice in Standard at our Invitational next weekend. Or at least there's less rounds for him to play with that. That's for sure. But I guess he's not doing himself any favors because he's playing Miracles. Well, it's Modern, so never mind. I'm going to say he'd be playing Miracles if it was Legacy. Marino going to take a mulligan here. That's why I remember the Invitational that Joe top-8 in Season 1 of last year. It must have been a relief to just play Burn for some of the rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. Just get this over with. Everybody could use a break. Kudva going to keep his 7. Marino going to be taking a look at 6 here in just a moment. He did mulligan last game, and that was no big deal. Side runner looking pretty impressive in that game.
It's just is what it is. Yeah. There's a lot of 2-drops. All of them are more or less fine. Because Marino is focused a bit more on the combo with 4 copies of Become Immense, makes sense to try to cram a trampling creature into the deck. And he also gets to lower the curve a little bit because he's not messing around with Hordeling Outburst.
Sure.
It's also just nice, you have your 4 Dragon Fighters, of course. You don't really want to play Abbott on the second turn. I mean, you can, but it doesn't feel great. So Marino just has another 2-drop he can cast. I do get hands sometimes with the Tarka Red where you're a little slow out of the gates because you don't have a 2-drop or you want to hold on to your Abbott for a little while, and Marino is shoring up that deficiency a little bit by just having another 2-mana play.
Well, Marino's going to take a mulligan here. Going to go down to 5. How's this deck do in that situation?
It's not great insofar as you're playing against more removal and your draw is more likely to be picked apart, and Kudva has cards like Dispel and Duress for good measure. The other side of it is this deck can mulligan to 5 and win way more frequently than the average red attacking deck because your best hands overpower everything.
And the one thing I do like about Lee Marino's deck is he is a little more combo heavy.
And I want to be combo heavy when I mulligan to 5.
Yep.
Because you can just slap those cards together and beat whatever's going on the other side of the table.
Hey, you just want to try to steal it. That's the big trick.
Cards like Hordeling Outburst don't do a ton of work for you when you mulligan to 5. You're all in on the combo, and so 4 Become Immense helps there quite a bit.
I'm going to be curious to see how many people pick this Atarka Red deck up for the Invitational. I think this is a really good deck.
I think very highly of it. It's very different from the red decks I've played historically, even though it looks like there's a lot of the same kind of stuff going on. But the deck's very powerful. It almost feels like a combo deck where sometimes you happen to win just by casting creatures and attacking.
Is Marino happy with the 5? Not sure he can go any lower.
Because the combo requires 3 lands, you can only mulligan so far and have a good shot at putting it together, especially since part of the combo involves getting a critical mass of cards in your graveyard. 5 cards, the best 5 card hands can still manage it. 4 cards, it starts becoming really unlikely you can piece it together. On top of all the problems that come with mulliganing to 4 cards.
Vikram going to sacrifice the Polluted Delta very quickly. He might be on the hunt for a swamp here, but he's just going to go with the Prairie Stream and just simply pass the turn back. Rending Volley the draw. And there's a Bloodstained Mire and just a passing of the turn.
Looks like Marino kept 4 lands in Abbott, which is an acceptable 5-card hand.
That's fine. Polluted Delta the draw here for Vikram. There's a Shambling Vent. Marino going to sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire. Might be on the hunt for a Cinderglade here. We'll see. That'll be the weapon of choice. We'll see what Lee puts together here on turn number 2. Remember, he's on the mulligan to 5 this game, mulligan to 6 last game. Excuse me, he's taking a really weird sideboarding approach. He's got Pia and Kieran as well, so it looks like he wants to try to maybe play a little bit of a longer game.
Yeah, I'm curious how much of the combo he's left in. Often people will move away from that. He also has brought in Rending Volley, so he's got a lot of his sideboard cards.
He's going to sacrifice Bloodstained Mire. Looks like he might be casting Abbott this turn. Top card. I believe that's a Rending Volley that's gone. Caves of Koilos the draw here for Kudva. He'll play a Silk Wrap. That'll take care of that. Polluted Delta and pass the turn back. Over to Marino we're going to go. He'll draw. Wild Slash.
Now I'm really interested to see how Marino sideboarded here to have Rending Volley and PA Kieran and still have Wild Slash in the deck. Most likely Atarka's command had to get cut. It's the only way to keep room for all these cards and leave the combo intact.
Sure. But that assumes the combo's still intact.
Which it maybe isn't.
Swamp the land that's found with the Polluted Delta. Ruinous Path the draw here for Vikram. This is land number 4. It means Gideon number 1. Gonna make an ally, pass the turn back. Marino might be sacrificing Wooded Foothills. We'll see. Looks like he will. This is going to fall down to 17. And quickly going to search up, it looks like another copy of Cinderglade. So as far as colors and mana are concerned, that's not going to be a problem.
He's got land number 4 rolled up for PA and Kieran already.
Yep. Could cast Wild Slash here. I think he might be thinking about it.
It's a good use of the mana because he's tapping out next turn, but I don't know if there's a big rush to take care of the token. If he's going to do it anyway, I'd prefer to do it now. I guess there is the question of which removal spell you want to use.
And he's going to use Wild Slash. Marino will draw Abbott. Yeah, I think that this comes down this turn, though.
Yeah, that's a good spot for it, and getting some flyers into play is not shabby when you're trying to tax a Planeswalker.
Okay, those are all dead. Wow, boarding into Planner Outburst is a bit surprising.
No, I thought Outburst was likely to come in.
Yeah?
It's barely above the line. I don't think you can bring in 6-mana sweepers against Atarka Red, but the 5-mana ones are good enough.
Gideon going to come across for 5, start clocking Marino. Here's Abbott. Top card, Swift Spear. It's castable. I'm gonna cast it. Get in there to Gideon, knock it down to 4. Kick it on back. Slide Runner was the draw step there for Kudva. Duress shows the goods. Rending Volley and a Slide Runner, so Volley down. Graveyard stock loaded here now for Vikram, so Murderous Cut will be just 1 black mana. Gideon going to come across for 5 more here. When Shambling, Vent, and Murderous Cut ready to play defense, I like Kudva's situation right now.
Talk a lot about point of no return.
With this deck, we certainly have.
I think we hit that spot basically at the Planar Outburst turn.
Yeah. Gonna get after the Gideon is Marino. Shambling Vent gonna go active. There'll be some blocking to be done, which means there might be some life to be gained. And for Vikram, not much of a reason to make a move here because you've got the instant speed removal spell.
Exactly. Blocker plus removal spell. And way ahead on the board, and way ahead on life totals.
The cheat code, just all of that. Makes it hard to lose.
And lethal coming on the way back.
Well, there's that too. It all adds up. It all adds up. Cut that. We're all done here. Vikram Kudva gonna win game number 2 here as Esper Tokens Atarka Red getting ready for game 3.
Now this is going to be the challenge for Kudva.
Oh yeah.
Can you win the game on the draw? And Marino's mulliganed. 6 in game 1, 5 in game 2. Keep 7. It's going to be a tough one. Curious to see how Kudva has sideboarded here. I've identified 6 cards that I like. Going through the deck, the ones that stand out to me as the most likely to be removed: 2 copies of Dragonlord Ojutai, 2 copies of Treasure Cruise, Obnixilis, and maybe Soren's the last one, maybe one of the Jaces.
Maybe one of the Jaces. I would be apprehensive about boarding Soren out because it's so good at turning the corner, but it is expensive, especially on the draw.
Yeah. Maybe Utter End's worse, but I think all the instant speed catch-all removal, even the slowest ones, have some value against Atarka Red because they are catch-all answers to the combo. If you've got other stuff going on, cards like Utter End, even though they're clunky and you're going to die with them in your hand sometimes, when you've got other stuff going on, they are part of locking up the game.
I'd be... Oh boy, Utter End is so tough because it is clunky, but it's instant speed, and you know there's good in part of it and bad in the other.
I wouldn't rule out that Stratus Dancer has come in. It's more effective blocker on turn 2 than Jace, and probably a more effective turn 5 play as well. So I guess I wouldn't be shocked if that came in. It's definitely lower in quality than the other 6 cards that I feel have definitely come in, but it may be better than Jace in this matchup.
Well, next week, Patrick, Season 4 Invitational. That's going to solidify all those spots for the Players' Championship. We got 9 to go, 7 already qualified, as you do know. Jacob Wilson, Jim Davis from Season 1, Ali Antrazi, Kevin Jones for Season 2, Alex Postecki, Danny Jessup for Season 3, and the defending champion, Brad Nelson. Next weekend, we get to finally put some pictures in this bad boy.
I know. it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Since season 3, you know, we've been waiting, talking about who's going to fill in, who looks likely, who are the outside shots and all that. We get to figure out all of that just a week away. And plus someone gets to win the championship. And if history suggests anything, it's going to be someone unexpected. You have Jacob Wilson, someone outside of the Open Series, even though he's had some Open Series success, plays on the professional circuit. Alex Bezecki, basically an unknown going into that tournament.
Judges a lot.
Alian Trazi, kind of in the middle of those couple of things. He plays some in the Grand Prix and Pro Tours, but he is sort of involved in the Open Series, though not as much as some of the other players on our leaderboard. So it'll be cool to see who comes out with that last slot.
Can't wait next weekend. And then, of course, that Players' Championship, December 19th and the 20th. 16 competitors, $50,000 taking place at the Star City Game Center in Roanoke, Virginia. It's going to be an awesome tournament. Let's see if Lee's going to keep 7 this time. Taking a pretty healthy look at it. I think Vikram might be doing the same. All right, we're good for takeoff. No turn 1 play.
There aren't that many turn 1 plays in the deck.
I suppose that's true. Zergo, Swift Spear, 1 Lightning Berserker, so 8.
Yeah.
Gonna sacrifice here. Play a Forest there, and now here's a Slide Runner. Over to Kudva.
Part of the reason I went to 4 Zergos was I was feeling the pain, or kept it at 4 Zergos, I guess. I was feeling the pain of not having a 1-drop more frequently than I was feeling the pain of I have a second Zergo and I can't really do anything with it.
Sure.
I did try 3 for a while, though.
We're going to be heading back over to Marino in a moment. Slide Runner got hit by a Silk Wrap, of course. Marino will draw a copy of Dragon Fodder.
So he's brought in the Hooting Mandrills, too.
He's taking a very unorthodox approach here to this matchup.
I wonder if Become Immense got cut, at least in some number.
There's Dragon Fodder. Cinderglade, pass the turn back. Shambling Vent the draw. Here's Jace. There's the Vent. Pass the turn back. Marino with Abbott in hand. You mentioned the Hooting Mandrills, and there's also an Antarcus command over there. He'll draw a card. Slide Runner the draw. Hand is very disjointed right now.
Yeah, there's a couple plays he can make here. He can go for broke with Abbott, because if he finds a land that he can attack with both of his tokens, Jace, there's a good chance Jace blocks, and then your Antarcus command kills Jace and deals quite a bit of damage. If you miss with the Abbott, looks pretty bad. If you attack first and Kudva runs no blocks and you play the Abbott post-combat, you now have a lot of misses that would have been hits if you'd done pre-combat, like Titan Strength.
We're going to play pre-combat. Top card. That'll work.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wild Slash. See you later, Jace. In for 2.
We have a winner. It's one of the good hits there.
Kudva down to 17. He'll draw a card. Sunken Hollow. Going to sacrifice Flooded Strand. Basic Plains. 2 basics now for Battlelands. I think we have a Gideon on the way. Gonna be a ooh, hello. Seeker of the Way. What's going on over here?
Well, there's not a whole lot that he has to trigger this at instant speed. Murderous Cut, his ultimate prices, and Dispel. But he also may not need to trigger it. Even the threat of triggering it might be good enough.
There's a Search of Righteousness in hand.
I like to Wild Slash first and just see what's up. You don't want to get involved in combat and then have the stack start building up with a Seeker of the Way in play.
And then you end up seeing what's up.
Yeah.
at the wrong time.
Because the worst case scenario, you know, let's say Wild Slash happens and he ultimate prices in response. You don't attack, and then you have the mana left over to cast Hooning Mandrills. Just pass it back.
Yeah, Mandrills, Slide Runner, something to add to your board.
Plenty of good options here.
Yep.
But I think Billy Marino refers to this as clarifying the game state. Make a play where the risk is low, and there's a number of responses your opponent can have, but the information's very valuable to you right now.
Well, he's going to go to the attack step. There's a very fast block. Here is a Tarkus command. Going to give +1/+1, I imagine, and prevent lifelink. Surge of Righteousness. And now here's Wild Slash. So I'll take care of that. That's going to die. The life will be gained. Then a Tarkus command will resolve. And that outcome is okay.
Yeah. But it would maybe have been preferable there if the only card in hand was Surge of Righteousness, you Wild Slash first and then play Hooting Mandrills post-combat.
Mm-hmm. So they'll figure out exactly how much damage has been dealt, all that jazz. Get life totals up to speed. And then we're going to head back Vikram's way. Jace the draw. Jace is the play. I'm just going to pass the turn back.
On behalf of the DCI and Judge Program, I'd like to welcome
Mountain the draw.
2 new level 2 judges to the Judge family, Matt Marino and Shane Luke. Congratulations.
Here come the beatdowns. See if Jace has any interest in blocking here. For Vikram's hand, by the way, I believe Ruinous Path and Silk Wrap.
Yeah, a block risks a pretty mopey trade with a Tarkus command or Titan Strength.
Mm-hmm.
So with the quality of spells in Kudva's graveyard, although I guess there isn't anything too excellent to flash back, because Surge of Righteousness doesn't really play well with Jace, but
there's a Slide Runner, and now here is a Dragon Fodder. If your Lee, if that Planner Outburst shows up, it's not good news.
yeah. Languish is also any sweeper.
Yep.
Very good right now.
And that's what Vikram needs. He needs one of his sweepers. Gonna start with a Silk Wrap. Take care of the Slide Runner. That's a land. Gonna sacrifice that. Gonna get himself a Prairie Stream. And this will allow Vikram to keep up Shambling Vent.
Yep.
That's what this does here.
Doesn't protect him from the combo.
Nope.
But if Marino's hand's just normal pump spells, Shambling Event does a lot of work here, and you can afford to trade one because you have the second one left over.
Well, we're going to go like Marino's way. His last card in hand right now is a Hooting Mandrills, which is pretty large. But it looks like he has moved away from the combo quite a bit right now.
With the cards he's seen, I just don't know how he would have enough space for everything.
And Dragon Fodder and Hooting Mandrills in hand now.
Attack on the table gets nothing done.
Yep.
He loses a goblin, deals no damage, assuming Shambling Event is animated and blocks.
And I think the thing here is I think Kudva has made it so readily apparent that he's going to activate Shambling Vent.
Yeah.
With the fetch in the main phase, the way his lands are set up, that I don't think there's any chance he doesn't activate if he attacks.
Yeah, Kudva is thrilled to trade a Shambling Vent with a pump spell in the spot.
Oh, yeah.
He's about to accumulate a pretty big advantage in resources. So it's one of those spots where I don't think there's a lot to be gained by bluffing because Kudva has a huge incentive on the table to call.
And honestly, even Jace is going to incentivize to block because he can just block and then just flip.
Exactly. Especially because you have the tools in your hand to go wide, because you have another Dragon Fodder and a Hooting Mandrills. On top of that, you really don't want Kudva to use his mana efficiently this turn animating the Shambling Vent. You kind of want to tie up his mana and then go in one shove rather than trying to do it over the course of several turns when the card in question is Shambling Vent, which is gaining life and eating some tokens along the way.
The way this game is being played now, it feels like it's all about a Tarkus command now.
Yeah.
We're going super wide. You want to prevent lifelink, all that jazz. So it feels like it's all about a Tarkus command. Here's Hooting Mandrills from the sideboard. We're going to send it back over to Kudva. Ultimate Price was the last card in hand. Jace draw, discard, flip.
There in that spot, I think Kudva should just take the draw first.
I think so too.
No difference between Jace flipping at the end of Marino's turn or on his own turn.
And there's potential that he actually wants Monastery Mentor in that situation because he would have drawn Mentor for the turn. Delta would have been in the draw step, discard Delta, play Mentor, pass the turn back.
Yep. A lot of big draws here available for Marino, to say the least. Pump spells are great. Even Titan Strength just trading up a little bit can be good. Become Immense is awesome. A Tarkus command, I believe, results in a kill. But the creatures stink right now because Shambling Vent holds it all off.
Yeah, you're not making a lot of ground by attacking. One of the tokens has -2, -0, all that stuff. Here's Zergo Bellstriker. Well, we're getting in with everybody, it looks like. We'll find out if it's going towards Jace or towards Vikram. Everyone's going to Vikram.
Yeah, this is, at this point, he's doing enough on the table where he's making progress against Shambling Vent. So it's not a bad alpha strike. I think the cards that are lethal are still lethal the same way. One big pump spell or a Tarkus command should still end the game here. So this is a fine attack as far as I'm concerned. Remember, Marino also has to concern himself with cards like Planar Outburst and Languish. So he can't really just sit back with his creatures all day long. When the getting's good, he's got to take his shots.
Time to sacrifice. Prairie Stream the land. A lot of mana here. Jace is going to go up. Monastery Mentor with the ability to activate Shambling Vent, pass the turn back.
Yep, 2 blockers now, plus one of the creatures is suppressed. So Marino cannot make headway on the board as it stands.
Though right now, Tarkus command would still be game over.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now I think you probably have to stop attacking. My concern here is that if you make an attack, you lose 2 creatures, and you deal 1 point of damage, you may run into a spot where a Tarkus command is no longer lethal if you lose so much of your board. There's also just let Kudva burn 4 mana. Don't let him play efficiently by animating the Shambling Vent.
Seeker the way. It's getting harder. Pump, pass. Tarkus command still lethal. Take a draw. Cinderglade, Bloodstain, Mire in hand.
The noose is starting to tighten, and Kudva this turn may start flashing back spells and getting some prowess triggers. He can't beat the combo if that were to show up, but he can start pulling himself out of the range of a Tarkus command.
Well, this gets good. Trigger, trigger. Gideon going to bring likely an ally along with it, too. Now the board's getting really gummed up. And now we might be getting to the point as Ultimate Price can be cast, it looks like. Which is another Monk. Another prowess trigger for Seeker of the Way. You said it once, might be saying it again here this week. It might be the point of no return.
Depends how much of the combo Marino has left. I mean, he still might have some turns here if Kudva doesn't draw a removal spell. If he finds a removal spell, you can play it instant speed, then you can lock it up. As it stands, Marino still has hypothetical draws, assuming that he's left Tyrann of Battle Rage and Become Immense in his deck.
This is an attack for 4. I mean, it's got to be the 1-2 punch now. It's got to be like draw step for draw step.
Yeah, Tarka's command is now no good.
Yep.
There's 4 creatures in play versus 5 tokens. Kudva 10 life.
Marino going to sacrifice a fetch land. He's got the other Cinderglade in hand, so he's got 3 in his deck.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a little change he's made.
His breakdown's a little bit different. He's only on 6 mountains and a 3rd Cinderglade. He has 11 fetch lands, probably because of McKinney's Slide Runner in the deck. So mana base got shifted around a little bit.
Marino will draw. Abbott of Carroll Keep. There will be a trigger. That's a Bloodstained Mire. That's not going to help. Not one bit. And you can see this board. There are no good attacks.
Even a Tarka's command and Become Immense do not result in good attacks.
There's only one card right now. There's only one card right now in Marino's hand. So if you're Kudva, you are aggressively blocking.
Yes. This is another spot where I don't think there's much progress to be made with a bluff because Kudva is just extremely likely to call.
And Kudva's been snap calling.
Yep.
You can move around the creatures and get an idea of, what combat might look like. But yeah, I think Marino just coming to the same conclusion he's come to a couple of turns now, which is I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. And Gideon going to move up. Looks like that's the only creature that's going to attack this turn. False another Mentor. Actually, don't think Kudva has anything good to flash back. It's just going to go up to 6. Slow down Abbott, pass the turn back.
2/2s for 3 aren't bad here, though.
Oh, they're perfectly fine. And if he draws a spell, then the monks start coming, and they obviously get bigger and everything else that's involved with that, so. Down to 8 goes Marino. I'm trying to think if even a card like Pia and Kieran Nalar are out here. I mean, he wants to try to give himself as much time to be able to draw into Teamer Battle Rage plus Become Immense, but again, it's unclear if he even has those cards in his deck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We've just seen so many sideboard cards, Wild Slash, Hooting Mandrills, Pia and Kieran Nalar. I think that there had to be cards removed somewhere, and I imagine that Marino just gone with the pump spells.
Yeah, you can't have everything, right?
Yeah.
I suppose you could have a 75-card deck, but.
So I do like the fact that Kudva turned on the Gideon and started attacking. I think I would have also preferred for him to turn on the Shambling Vent because Marino's in a position right now where he just kind of has to, he can't chump block. He's got to take these hits and try to build up a board. And Kudva is really incentivized to try to get some life for his trouble along the way. You don't want to basically have the Shambling Vent sitting there not doing anything and then Marino kill you in one burst. If you could have gotten some chip shots in with the Shambling Vent, gained a little bit of life and had a bit of a cushion to work with.
Planner Outburst.
This will do it too.
I think that's with Awaken.
No, it's just being cast.
Just normally? Okay.
But Kudva's board is a lot better. It's got a Gideon and a Chase.
I suppose his board is better than his opponent's. Yes. Get in there for 5. Marino's going to fall down to 3. This is, I think it's a no for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Draw a card. Definitely no for if you draw a land. Swissbeer wants to do a little blocking, huh?
There's always the hypothetical Battle Rage Haste Creature Teamer kill. 3 cards can always kill you.
Yes, this is true.
But I don't think Marino's got it.
Gonna tick down Jace. Yeah, I like this play. Tick down Jace, flashback Planner Outburst, kill that, plus Gideon. That's gonna do it. Vikram Kudva is going to win this match here over Lee Marino. 2-1. Esper Tokens will take care of Atarka Red, and he is your champion here in Denver. Congratulations to him.
It was really fun watching him play on camera, too, because you could tell his approach for matchups was about accomplishing specific things. There were definitely, you know, there were some prowess triggers along the way. There was the loot with Jace. Pure technical perspective, not a perfect tournament from what we watched on camera.